All right. Let's get into it. Hi, folks. Hi, how we doing? Checking in live with you. I'm the guy with the bow tie. Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to have some little educational session right now. I want to represent for my people all across the U.S. and across the globe, but today's topic is U.S. focus on the work opportunity tax credits. Please let me know below where you're watching from, and if you're watching live or on replay, we appreciate it either way. This is our first broadcast of 2022. I've not gone live yet till now, just to kind of take a break and get things back together, but I appreciate you guys joining me today. Let's get this pulled up real quick. So today's topic, something important, so I want to wait for people to get in here. You want to get paid by the government to hire people. I teased this session about getting up to $9,600 per new hire because there are programs the government has that people aren't very aware of. I wanted to shed some light on it to make sure people know how to use it and to help them with their business, because a common issue we're having in 2022 is the war for talent. So let me know below in the comments if you're having struggle finding employees, if the place you're working is staffing up, because that seems to be a common issue even before the new year came about. A lot of people were having challenges to find out, so I have to check in with my audience to see if that's true in their area. So comment below if you're having a hard time finding new people, or if your place you're working is trying to staff up and not doing a good job doing so. But let's get into this, make this a little bit bigger so I can see better. There we go. So the work opportunity tax credit, that's our topic today, the work opportunity tax credit, affectionately known as WOTC. That's how people call it in shorthand. But if you haven't heard about that, it's something that's been around for a while, but it's a federal tax savings program benefiting employers and job seekers. Now, the primary premise of this is to talk about for jobs or for employers, but a job seeker could use this too to their advantage if they understand how it works. So if you're a job seeker, this can help you. If you're an employer, this can help you, because both sides of the coin are beneficial to this. But what is it? It's a tax credit for business owners created in 1996 by the federal government. And I apologize for the slide showing up funky. It looks like StreamYard changed it. But it's been around since 1996. So this is not new. A lot of people just heard about it, but that's just because they didn't know about it. If you remember a while ago, people were kind of upset about the fact that Jeff Bezos paid $0 in taxes with Amazon, and people were upset about that. But at the end of the day, it was a legal thing. Nothing was wrong with it. It wasn't anything he was doing wrong, as far as I know, but a lot of it was tax credits. So this credit's been around since 1996, but most employers don't know about that. And that's the problem, is that if something's been helping you pay to hire people for that long, you would think a lot of people know about it. But unfortunately, they don't. So the details of it, it's available to employers who hire and retain. Hire and retain. So you can't just hire somebody, get the credit, and move on. It's about both. Hire and retain. That's the point of it, to help you grow the business. And it's for private companies only. This is not for nonprofits, unfortunately, but this is for for-profit companies to help them find people. So that's the premise, is to retain them. It's not just to churn people, because some people have thought about that. What if I hire folks and then fire them immediately? The credit doesn't work that way, and I'll get into the details further, but the idea is to retain these people. Now, often you will see employers use this in ways to do hiring bonuses, which I'll get into further, but the part of the hiring bonus will say you have to work for this long to get this. So more details, it gets up to $9,600 in tax credits per eligible employee. $9,600, that's the highest credit you can get. I don't know about you, but credits are great. When somebody looks at taxes, credits are the great thing you want to see all the time. So as a business, if you're looking at this, is I can get a credit for hiring people. Yes, it's just not really commonly known by most people. Now, interestingly enough, about 30% of workers are eligible for this. Now, the reason is usually because of the amount they get paid. They might have some assistance program. They could be a veteran. There's a couple different categories, but that's because all of these hourly workers, unfortunately, aren't paid enough. As a result, they get qualified for some of these credits. So if you have hourly workers, pay attention, because people with hourly workers are most likely to have somebody in this category, but in other categories as well. But that's just one to factor in. If you pay your staff per hour and you're not paying them, $50 an hour or something crazy like that, then it's a good chance you have employees eligible for this credit. So here's kind of how it works. If you want to kind of see it in action for a situation, if somebody hired one new hire, in this top example, $2,400, so let's say they're a long-term unemployed. One of the categories is long-term unemployed. I'll dig further into it as we go along, but that's worth $2,400. So if you hire one, that's your tax credit. Let's see if you hire 15 at the same tax credit, that's $3,600 in tax credits. Now, for those that don't love looking at taxes all the time. When you get a credit, it's cash off. Like whatever you owe, the credit takes away from that. So businesses usually have taxes they got to pay each year. So this is a great thing to help you if you're in a situation where you're hiring people. You can strategically think about, okay, I can hire somebody and this credit will help my expenses, which increases my profit. At the end of the day, if you eliminate an expense, it's increasing your profit. So this tax credit is straight cash money. If for some reason you're having a refund, it's refundable to a degree, but the main goal is most businesses aren't getting refunds. So when you hear Jeff Bezos paid $0 in taxes, a lot of this came from tax credits. I mean, Amazon has a lot of hourly workers. So think about that. All the hourly workers Amazon has can help make this happen because they have hourly workers. So that'll be an option to realize that they're doing it, so why can't you do it too? But there you go. If you had 15 new hires, $36,000 in tax credits. Hey Donovan, thanks for jumping in team. Obviously there in the bottom. Thank you, sir. Just talking about some tax credits to help people with their business. So this is a screenshot example of if you hired 15 people, which isn't too lofty a goal for most businesses, that if you have like about 10 people, you might want to double this year. Who knows? Or you're a startup. You say, hey, I want to get this thing going the right way. Use this from the beginning. But that's about the money that's there. And then think about that. If you get a $50,000 tax bill, you would get $36,000 off of it. So that's a great benefit, especially to small businesses, because we know they're hurting. And let's face it, everybody's trying to find talent right now. So this is a very relevant topic. Now, did you know that in 2020, the U.S. issued 1.6 million certificates for this credit? So 1.6 million certificates. Now, when they give a credit with this program, that's called a certificate. So when they give a credit, that's a certificate is what they call that. So if you keep that in mind, that's a lot of credits given out. That means if the lowest credit was $2,400 a person, the government paid out $3.8 billion. $3.8 billion. Think about that. That's money they paid to small businesses to help them grow just from doing this simple process. Now, who's eligible for it? This is the most common question when I talk about this. Who's eligible? So there's about 12 categories, the highest being a veteran. Now, I'll leave a comment section for this real quick. How many of you have seen, we proudly hire veterans, veteran powered, send us your veterans, tell us the veterans, looking for an opportunity. Now, I understand there's veteran-owned business, but I'm just saying businesses that kind of tout, we love to hire veterans. Anybody seen that in a job posting, a Indeed post, onboarding conversation? Anybody seen something like that about we love veterans in the hiring process? And I'll wait a few seconds for those to come in. Now, the reason I asked that, because it's something that is financially beneficial when you think about it. Now, you might think some of it is like, we do love our veterans. We just want to take care of them and give them an opportunity. Totally fine for that. I understand that. But on the other side of that coin is they get $9,600 a person they hire for this credit. Now, quick fact with that, you have to be the first person to hire them. So it can't be they get the credit, that is. It couldn't be they got the credit 10 years ago and you get it now. The credit's once per person, that once they're in that category, it's once per person to have that happen. So you can't just go churn through veterans and get the credit over and over again. It's got to be for a newly hired veteran. So $9,600, that's a lot of money for a tax credit to hire somebody. And a good thing, veterans are great people to hire. My father's a veteran. Military is part of my family, so I understand what that life is like, and they're hard workers. So that's actually a good person to hire anyway. But at the end of the day, you can get nearly 10 grand to hire a veteran. So when you see a job posting or a LinkedIn post for a job saying, proud veterans, come here, tell us you're veterans and all that, it's a financial incentive to some degree if they know about this. Now, if they don't know about this, shame on them. I mean, because it's a great benefit to help you gain some income from hiring people anyway that you're going to hire. So you might as well benefit from that. But you'll see TANF, temporary assistance for needy families. That's usually going to be in a lower income area based on zip code. I think Georgia has 2 of these in the area. So there's zip code that have a certain, if you live in the zip code, that area qualifies you for that credit. SNAP, getting food stamps, getting an ex-felon, Social Security, and this could be somebody in the household. So these things being in the household benefits the employer, saying, hey, if you're someone in a household that has food stamps, you're in a household that somebody gets Social Security, there's benefits to that employer for hiring people that way. Now, that's probably a hard question to ask, and we'll talk about how to do that later in this presentation, but it's something that if you knew that, you might say, you know what, I want to hire that one because they're smart and I can get the tax credit. So don't think that this replaces the ability to do the job or the qualifications. It just means that if you get the right candidate and you get paid for it, it's a win-win. So how do you actually get this? That's the question people say. How do I get this credit? Do I just tell somebody and I get paid? Well, no, unfortunately. There's forms that have to get filled out. So 2 forms. That's it. Just 2 forms you have to fill out to make this happen. So this is not the most difficult process, but there's timing and bandwidth. That's the usual issues people have with doing this. So timing and bandwidth. And please comment below. Let us know you're watching from. Appreciate the interaction. And let us know any questions you have below in the comments. But the 2 forms, IRS Form 8850, that's a pre-screening notice and certification request. Now, that would be signed by the employer and employee. You can't work around that. So that's one form. The other one is the individual characteristics forms. So those 2 forms are what actually gets you going with the credit. You don't get it instantly, obviously. It's coming off your taxes. But remember those 2 forms. Now, they have to be filed timely. This is the hard part. Filed timely. So to be considered timely, you got to do it within 28 days following their first day of work. 28 days. Now, that might seem like, duh, get it done in 28 days, but some people's hiring process either takes a while or is kind of all over the place, or different people help with it. So sometimes it's hard to just keep track of it. Like, hey, who filled out the Form 8850? Who filled out ETA 9061? So sometimes it's a bandwidth issue because you have to do that within 28 days. Now, the other thing, too, is if you don't keep people, it's hard to make this work because they got to work at least 28 days for this to work. So when you send this in, you're kind of hoping, do they stay there? Do they stay working for me? But either way, 28 days is your window of time to get that done. Now, you cannot fire them and rehire them. I want to make sure that's clear because clients I've talked to before said, hey, can I just fire all my employees and rehire them? No. It has to match the original hire date. So you cannot do anything fishy like that. And hit some reactions if you was thinking about that. If you have employees and was thinking, yeah, just fire them all and rehire them. Hit some reactions for that, please. But yeah, it has to be 28 days. So they can't work one day, then you get the credit because they're going to ask for that later on. But 28 days is the window of time. Now, here's some other employers that have used this. Amazon. Amazon's offering $3,000 to hire new employees. $3,000. Now, part of that could be not the credit. They can just say we're going to pay a bonus just for hiring people because it costs too much to find people. SHRM, the Society of Human Resources Management, actually found it takes about $4,000 to hire somebody and can take it to 93 days. So let me say that again. They say it costs about $4,000 to hire somebody, and it can take up to 93 days to find that person. So Amazon could be saying, you know what? I'll give them $3,000. That's cheaper than what it's going to cost to find them and quicker. But the third component of that is tax credits. Now, they can't say in this hiring, obviously, we're only going to hire people that get this tax credit. But part of their screening process probably ask questions of, do these people match this category? So when they're looking to find these people, they can actually qualify them through the screening process and say, okay, are you a veteran? Yes or no? Okay, no. Have you been unemployed at least 27 weeks? No, okay. And they can kind of figure out a list of people who are the ones that can do that. Need help getting workers? Use this tax credit to pay a hiring bonus. This is a beautiful strategy. If you run a business and you're trying to hire people, and you're like, what do I do to attract them? I know I got a great work culture. I know my business is fun. I know people like the products I sell. It's great. I just can't get someone to take the offer because I can't pay them the same as the big guys. Well, what you could do is say, you know what? I'm going to put the job posting out there and screen people to see who qualifies for this tax credit, and then that could be used towards a bonus. So I could say in the job posting, bonus potential, hiring bonus available. And if I see as a startup, I'm like, I don't have the money to really pay the bonus all the way, but I can say, well, I'm going to get $2,400 for this person, so I give them $1,000 bonus now because I'll get it back later. That's a great strategy for businesses to use to grow, is just use that tax credit as a hiring bonus strategy, because better believe the big guys, quote unquote, are doing that. They're not doing it all from their bank account. They're basically, I mean, you pay the money up front, obviously, but they're doing it because they understand, I'll get a tax credit for this later, so I was given money to help pay you. So you're essentially given money by the government to hire these people. So great strategy that people just don't do enough, and Amazon is doing that. That's one of their bonus structures right now, is $3,000 to hire people. And they're one of the largest employers in the U.S. So you think, well, I'm a little guy. How can I do that? You can still do the same things they do. It's just a matter of understanding how to. So remember, this tax credit is for hiring people. So if you're trying to grow your business, it's a great way to grow your business because you can actually put money back into your staff. Some folks pay higher. They'll pay their employees more. because they know, you know what, I made a tax credit right now for this year. I can use it off my taxes, then we'll increase sales the next year. So that way I'm not hurt as much by this new pay raise. So just phenomenal strategy that the large guys are doing, but they have the bandwidth to do it. When you think about an Amazon, a Walmart, a Target, something like that, they have the bandwidth to do these things. They have a legal department, finance department, all different people. So they have the bandwidth to make this happen because there is a tax element, a payroll element, and an HR element to this. So those three have to work together in tandem kind of for this tax credit to work advantageously for you. So if you're only a, one man, one woman operation, or you only have like one office manager, might be hard to say, you know what, I want you to start keeping track of these people we hire for these tax credits. So that's the biggest issue with an employer that's smaller, is they don't have someone to do this. Now, you can hire someone to do this. Usually costs you a portion of the credit and some kind of retainer fee. So you might pay, $1,000 a year and then half the credit or 40% of the credit, something like that. It still works out okay, but you got to pay for that, which is fine if you want to do it that way. A great workaround has been certain benefits insurance companies will partner with this credit and do it for you for free just by offering their benefits. So this is kind of the idea for most people. If you wanted to have this for your company, you can say, you know what, I don't have benefits, but maybe I want to get benefits. A few different benefits companies will say, hey, we'll pay for the system to help you screen people to see if they qualify for the credit, and to capture the credit at no cost to you, just offer our benefits. So offer our product. And you don't have to pay for the product. You can just say, I'll offer the product, but I'm not going to pay for it. Fine. They just want to have an audience with your people. And the beautiful thing about that is that helps you keep those employees longer. So this is the kind of recipe for everything. If you're saying, okay, I'm going to partner with an insurance company to offer a benefit so I can get this tax credit, but then at the same time, I'm not paying for the benefit. And thirdly, people want benefits. You need to have more things to offer people than just a paycheck. You can't just say, we got a great work culture. It's fun to work here. Flexible. There's these little fluffy things people will say in job postings that aren't so concrete. So when you can say benefits, oh, I know what benefits are. Whatever they are, it could be a mixture of things, but the idea of it is when you tell an employee, hey, we're going to offer you benefits and a signing bonus, it kind of moves you up the ladder of like, will I go actually to this interview? Will I go to this place to see if it's a good opportunity for me? So when you think about that as an employer, it's a great strategy. And say, okay, insurance company, sure, talk to my people, get whatever they want to get. I'll take it out their paycheck, and you help me get this tax credit because I need to grow my business. I need more employees. I'm not finding the people I want. And this is a great way to do that. So remember that bonus, that structure that other employers are using, they're using it for a hiring bonus. Now, they're not going to concretely say that in the job posting, but if you were to get into a room with them and ask some questions about this, it just makes sense. This credit is made for work opportunities. That's why it's called the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. When you're giving an opportunity to someone for work, they're going to give you a tax credit. And they're saying an opportunity for a veteran. Let me go back to the list of options just for people that came in late to make sure the list is up there again. So these people here, veterans, people that live in a TANF area, SNAP in the household, designated community residents, vocational rehab, ex-felons, Social Security, and long-term unemployed, which means 27 weeks or more not working. So long-term unemployed means 27 weeks of not working. Now let's think about COVID. COVID has had a lot of people not work for 27 weeks. And some will argue that that's by choice because of the unemployment benefits, which is true in some cases. But some cases people say, hey, I'm not willing to work this way for this much money anymore. Thanks, Donovan, for the comment. I'm trying to drop the gems as much as I can. I appreciate you saying that. But people look at, I don't want to do the same thing for the same pay because last time when I got COVID, they didn't do anything for me. Or I got sick and I didn't have health insurance and this happened. There's some other reason. It's the a mindset shift. I don't think it's so much everybody resigned because of unemployment. I think it was a mindset shift. And plus, we went through a political season where we heard about $15 minimum wage over and over again, paid maternity leave over and over again. So people heard things so frequently that they're like, you know what? I want to work somewhere that gives me that. So these credits for these certain people are giving them an opportunity, but long-term unemployed is a very good low-hanging fruit for a business. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for the right thing. They saved some money up from their last job, they got a severance package, whatever, but they're waiting for the right opportunity. So you giving a tax credit, they might say, you know what, this is the time to do it, because they could still be unemployed because they want to. But at the end of the day, this credit can help you to say, I can give $1,000 bonus to hire somebody, because I get $2,400 for hiring them. And part of your job screening questionnaire, if you have one, you'll ask them, hey, have you been unemployed for this long? Are you a veteran, X, Y, and Z? You ask them questions. So part of this partnership process with the insurance companies is you can have a third party at no cost to you build that questionnaire process into the job posting, replacing your Indeed posting, your Facebook post, your Twitter post, LinkedIn. They'll actually pay for that for you. So you can get these job postings put out there that already have the questions baked into it of, do you qualify for credit? And this is free as an employer to offer. All you have to do is partner with these insurance companies to say, hey, you can talk to my employees about your products. There's no, you have to pay for it. There's no, you got to put a certain amount. No, it's just, hey, if you offer it to your staff, great, thank you. It's a chance for us to spread the message, and it's a chance for you to build retention, because benefits is the number 2 reason people choose a job. Let me make this bigger. Benefits is the number 2 reason people choose a job. First is pay, then it's benefits, then culture, and depending on the survey you look at. But it's always pay then benefits. Now, with that said, several small businesses don't have benefits at all. Several, the vast majority don't. So this is a great way for a small business to kind of step up and say, wait, I can get benefits at no cost to me and assistance for finding these tax credits at no cost to me. Why would I not do that? And it's just smart business sense if you need help with it. Now, if you have a great legal department at your company, good CFO, people to help do these things in the tax, HR, and benefits section of your business, then you might not need to do this. But if you're saying, no, I only have one operations person, they're kind of spread thin, it's easier to have this system put in place to do all of it for you. So I highly recommend, if you're a business trying to grow, this is a way to do it, using the work opportunity tax credit. Because again, let me pull that back up one more time. If you look at the example of it, we went through a couple times throughout the year, 5 new hires. At the lowest tier, that's 12 grand. There's a lot of small businesses that have 5 people and they want to get to 10, or there's like 10 that want to get to 15. If you get those 5 people and they qualify one of these categories, that's 12 grand towards your taxes. That's a great fit for people. So if you're just looking for something to kind of help for 2022, a lot of my colleagues I've talked to, so I'm trying to grow the businesses here, trying to staff up, trying to expand, this is a way to do it and get paid at the same time and get benefits. So it's a great way to kind of do all 3 things for your company and profit. And this is what the large people do. So better believe Amazon has a legal department for this. Better believe Walmart has a legal department for this to help keep track of all these things. You don't. So I'm trying to show people a way down. So remember, if you need help with this, feel free to DM me. This is a new feature on StreamYard, a slide presentation. So, but if you need help, you can always DM me on LinkedIn. You could message me via email. Let me turn that off real quick. There we go. You can email me, you can DM me, whatever way you need to. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. It's so weird. But as for my job is to help make this easy for people. So that's all I know how to do, is what's the simplest way to help with the solution. And last but not least, to put the slide up there, if this was to work for me, there's my email, thewayoflifegroup@gmail.com. Contact me if you have questions about that, or you'll see a link. Let's see if I'm pointing the right way. There's a link you'll see over there, rebrand.ly/BTGZoom. That's just to schedule a conversation. If you say, hey, this sounds interesting to me, let's schedule a conversation. Feel free to, or send it to your colleague of yours. I've helped other clients with this, and they're thrilled with it because it's stuff they weren't having access to before. So it's free to get access to it. It's just a matter of offering some benefits to your staff. And in reality, if you want to keep somebody for at least 28 days, you probably got to do a little something extra besides the pay bonus. Benefits will be helpful for that. So that's the idea of it. Get the 1-2 punch of benefits and a tax credit at the same time without having to pay for it unless you want to. If there's no questions from the audience, I'll wait here for a second for the questions from the audience. I got a message here. Okay, so somebody messaged me saying that what if somebody qualifies for 2 categories? So good question. So what if somebody qualifies for 2 categories? You only get paid for the one. So I know that stinks, but that's the way it worked out. Unless something changed in the last, session in Congress, my understanding was there's only 1 credit per category. Other question, hold on. Okay, so how many times can a person get the credit? Okay, good question. Somebody asked me, this is from messaging me, how many times can a person get the credit? I think the question is asking me, how many times can I get that credit for that one person? So if person A works at company A and they get the veteran credit at company A, then when company B hires person A, there's no credit available. There's one credit per person per life, really. So once they get that credit for being hired somewhere, can't do it again. The IRS keeps track of that. That's part of that form process. That's why you fill that form out so they can match up the records. But it's once per person per category. So they can't double dip. Well, not they can't, but another employer couldn't benefit from the same thing. So the goal is to be the first one and keep them longer. If you're the first one to get this credit, use it to your advantage to keep them around a long time because it's only once per person. But good question. Other than that, I'll end the session to kind of get y'all back to your time. I appreciate those tuning in. If you found value in this, please share it. Also, just tag a friend that says, hey, you need to check this out for your company. I heard you're trying to grow it. I know you're trying to expand. Or if you just know people hiring that aren't doing this, it's a no-brainer. If you're already spending a lot of time hiring people, trying to find people, and you're not doing this, why aren't you doing it? You can get paid to hire these people. So if you're already in this crunch of like, I need to get people, I'm already putting out job posts on LinkedIn, Indeed, Facebook, Twitter, why don't you do it this way where you can get paid to do so and get the help to do it? By a third-party company that does everything for you, except for tell you who to hire, but all of the building out of getting these people and screening them, they do it for you. So if you would like to do that the more effective and efficient way, go ahead and message me or email me at wayoflifegroup@gmail.com so we can have a conversation to see if it makes sense for you. I appreciate y'all giving me audience to talk about these things. It's not always the most fun topic, but I hope it's valuable and beneficial to help you grow your business. Please, next time.